So for the week 3 podcast reviews, we reviewed 2 podcasts this week. Starting off with the SPJ Media Ethics by Kim Fox. One of the first things I like that she added in is she talked about where did you learn what is right and wrong in ethics. It can go from family, faith, friends, and I think one of the big things that I like that she touched upon was she said that we do not all have to agree on the same situation. And it also goes by how someone was brought up and raised. Some people were raised where if you do it by the book and it's this, this, and this. Some people were not raised like that. And they just do whatever you can, just, you know, do what you think is right. And so in that sense, it makes it so that not everyone's opinions are different, which could be a good thing because you see different sides of different people. And that's just kind of how everyone bounces off their ideas and bounces off their morals and ethical virtues to each other. For next, they talked about the SPJ Code of Ethics. It was a little PDF, and in that PDF, it's something that we reviewed. I think a little bit in this class. I know we definitely reviewed it last class, and we've touched upon it in quite a few other ones since I've been in this program here at St. Bonaventure. And I basically talked about the abiding principles, basically the practices and the guidelines, not rules, that you should follow. I think the one else thing that they like that she touched upon was the 4 principles that are really important in the media ethics, which is seeking the truth, acting independently, minimizing harm, and being accountable and transparent. Which those are basically a lot of principles that we've touched on in this class, whether it's been this class, other classes. It's nothing new there. So I think it's a good little refresher that I was able to get from that podcast and that video. When we go to our next video, it was a TED Talk, and it was Sports Journalist Stereotyping Athletes by Race by Pat Ferrucci. One of the things that I like that he first touched upon, which I didn't really realize this, and I thought this was kind of very inciting and kind of gives me an idea of what I might think about myself next time around or think about other people next time around. But he said that journalists and broadcasters stereotype athletes by word choice, which could be anywhere between intelligence, background, motivation, leadership, all different types of word choices. And just use it in that sense. And that's how they end up doing things is they don't really realize it, but they stereotype people based on their race when they write an article or when they broadcast. And that's something I never thought of. And I wonder if I've done that before and not really realized it. And I think he used a fantastic example as he compared Cam Newton and Tom Brady. Now, this video was made when Tom Brady was on the Patriots, Cam Newton was on the Panthers. And he basically went in detail saying that Tom Brady at the time had 5 Super Bowls. He now has 7, and he won 3 of those over the age of 40. But I would say it takes a lot, as he said, to win 3 Super Bowls over the age of 40. If a lot of athletes don't play over the age of 40, and it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. So, you would think you have to be somewhat athletic and really good to keep playing at that level. But whenever Tom Brady wins, they only talk about how smart he is, not about his athleticism or anything like that. And they talked about with Cam Newton is that Cam Newton kind of accomplished a lot in college. He also played in Super Bowl. He was an MVP. He was an All-Pro, you name it. But when they talk about him, you would think you got to be pretty smart. When they talk about him, all they talk about is his athletic build and his strength, his stature, and nothing else. So that kind of seems like what I got from it, basically, as you said, is that if you're white, then you aren't considered athletic, you're considered smart. And if you are a black athlete, then you are considered a athletic, really good, structured human being and a really good athlete, but you're not considered smart. Kind of how it goes. But I think the last thing that he touched upon that I liked was everyday racism is more insidious than overt racism. And I think I kind of like how you mentioned that because I think the reasoning behind that, kind of how he somewhat touched upon, was that everyday racism, you don't really realize that you're doing it. Compared to overt racism, you're just coming right out and just saying it. And I think people are more offended by everyday racism because you're not trying to be racist and you just happen to say it and just happen to do it. And I think it just kind of makes it look a lot worse than it should be. And that's the reason why people are just very upset about it when it happens. Whereas compared to if you use overt racism, then it's obviously on purpose and things like that. So, but those were the 3 takeaways that I had from each video. And I think both of them were very insightful. I think I learned a little bit that I can use going forward in this course. And yeah.